As events in memory and the mourning of Winnie Madikizela-Mandela culminates in her final resting place tomorrow, South Africans and the international community continue to reflect on her legacy. In the 2 weeks since her passing, ordinary youth also brought a different voice to the impact the stalwart had on their lives, arguably surprising the older generation. But it was more so the young males that caught an eye of most people. You wonder why? Well, let's chat to them. We've got some in studio with us. Let me introduce them to you. Langa Hlatywayo, he's the founder and president of the Lead Me As I Lead You movement. Mdibo, founding director of Little Big Steps, as well as Tiyiselani Mukhari, who is the founder and CEO of Rich Learning Mentorship Program. Good to see all of you. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, such a nice pleasure and refreshing to be chatting to some, as your story is titled, males, some male guests, because you've been speaking to so many women about the inspiration that Mam Winnie was to women, and that's understandable. But to the youth, and especially young men, who wants to grab this? Why? Why do you want to start off for us?
Yeah, first let me just say that growing up, and you were one of the people that made me wake up very early in the morning because I admired watching you on TV. I had a serious crush on you, and you were the reason I'd arrive late at school because I just want to see you and the program. But coming to Mama.
No, hang on, wait. Yeah. You're speaking in past tense. Has something changed?
No, I still have a crush on you.
Okay, so you still got a crush. We'll chat afterwards.
Yeah, we'll chat afterwards.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
Exactly. So with me, coming to the story of Mama Winnie is that actually about sometime last month, before her passing, she, through Mama Zotwa Zwane, she had requested that we go out there to honor women in the country. And on the 12th of May, we were supposed to have a women in dialogue, which was to take place at the Orlando Stadium. Yeah. And it's something that we just decided to postpone on until the whole ceremony has been observed and she's been laid to rest. But it was such a great honor to have had the opportunity to go to her house and get to experience her while she was still alive. It was super amazing. And I believe that all the women in the country will rally behind Mama Zotwa to make sure that the program called Heal the Land does become fruitful, and it gets to be experienced by all women because it will be in honor of Mama Winnie. So as a young man, it played a great role in my life because she's a legend and she's from Esotho, and that's where I'm from too. Okay. So she represented me, and I'm glad to be here representing her and for a positive story. That's fantastic. And when you talk about Mama Zotwa, you're talking about a personal assistant, right? Yeah, I mean, Mama Zotwa, she spoke at her memorial, and she spoke beautifully, didn't she? Yeah, and she's a giant because just last night we were talking on the phone with Mama Zotwa, and I told her that Mama Winnie's spirit lives through her. You know, in Mama Zotwa we have a giant. We have Mama Winnie multiplied. Yeah, it's so nice. Yeah, Sydney, let's get your perspective as a young male. Why do you look up to Mama Winnie? What was it about her?
Oh, it's so many things. I mean, if I look at the caliber of women I have in my family, my mother was a staunch fan of Mama Winnie. And I think the lesson, or rather the lessons that her life story taught them, that they teach us, is that you can be an activist, you can be a philanthropist, and you can also be a caregiver, all at the same time, which are qualities that we wish to embed in the society that we live in. I mean, when we were, a few years ago, when we were part of the SRC on the campus I study at, we used to sing songs about Winnie Mandela, but we never really got to understand what the significance of these songs were. I mean, when we talk about the revolutionary, when we talk about the icon, I think her life story is one that many women in our society today go through. On the one end, you have to see to it that you are still raising your children under the most difficult of odds. On the other end, you need to also make sure that you are giving your services to the nation as and when it is required of you. But far more than that, you are expected to continue giving life to an idea. And the idea that Mama Winnie kept giving life to, even under the most adverse of circumstances, was to keep the idea of the struggle alive, even when the apartheid government had all these odds stacked up against her. And even post 1994, I mean, the idea that was presented to the nation about the kind of person that she is. And it sort of gives you an idea that that is what most women in modern society go through. You try your level best to give your services to those who need them the most, but very often than not, you are going to be silenced or marginalized or ushered into this little box or this little corner that because you are a woman, this is what you need to be or this is what you need to adhere to.
Absolutely.
And that is the story that most of our mothers, most of our sisters, grandmothers go through. I think that is part of the main reason why they are at the forefront of the mourning of her passing. Because far more than just losing this national icon, they've lost this pillar of strength that represented to them what they have always aspired to be and what they embodied within themselves. And I think that is something truly remarkable. I would hope that, you know, as young men, if we were to have daughters, if we were to have wives, they would have the same caliber that Winnie had. Wow. That at a time of, should it happen, that Terence gets incarcerated, then Terence is...
Let's hope that never happens. We don't want your wife to have to go through that. But I think what you've said is impeccable. I love the way you have put that. We can take a lot out of what you've said. Just very quickly, finally, before we take a break, then we're going to come back to the discussion. But Tiyiselani, I want to ask you the same question. As a young man, I'm loving hearing your views and what it is. Why do you love her so much? Why is she special to you?
For me, I was inspired by her braveness, you know. When you look at the time in which she was in the movement and leading all the ANC Women's League, apartheid was at its worst at that time, and you wouldn't expect women like her to stand brave in what they believed in and the drive that she carried inside. And I think a lot of us young people battle with fear. But to her, she conquered fear and she stood for what she believed was good for the country, was good for mothers and was good for women. So she stood in the plot to fight fear and to continue to stand for what she believed was right for the people. I think I draw a lot from her being a mother at that time. I can imagine how difficult it was for her to cater for her daughters without a husband. I remember at some point she had to send her daughters to Swaziland so that they could be safe and they could continue to study. And for me, that's heroic, you know?
Yeah. She's a hero for all of us. She really is. Let's quickly take a break. We'll continue this conversation, getting the perspectives of young men and also their organizations, what they are planning on doing going forward. Stay tuned.